Hi there, welcome to my YouTube channel. This is Tina from tinahills.com, and this video is a bit more juice on the Mercury retrograde. So something I wanted to add over here, that we may find Mercury retrograde very intense if Mercury happens to be our final dispositor. If Mercury happens to be on the rising, if Mercury happens to basically be very prominent in our chart, okay, in terms of our mutant figuris, or being the final dispositor, or just having a very, very powerful energetic signature, or even having a 10th house. So for me, it's my 10th and my first ruled by Mercury. So Mercury is now retrograding in the yin feminine sign of Scorpio. This is ruled by a Mars retrograde in Aries, and I already told you that Mars retrograde in Aries is like a Mars in Scorpio. So you've got a very scorpionic time frame happening. So sorry, Mercury retrogrades usually last for 3 weeks, but we must count for the shadow. And I've already explained to you what I mean by the shadow. Please consider looking up older videos. So what I feel is we need to look back. Instead of being outward directed, we need to be more inward directed. Okay, as if all the information and all the karmic debris from our previous actions, they sort of echo back and create a feedback loop. Okay, and that feedback loop is what we can access only when the planet is retrograde. More so when the planet is stationary, about to go retrograde, or about to go direct. This is the time when you really feel it, the feedback loop that comes to you, the echoing back of information. Okay, so the planets like Mercury, they are more personal, whereas planets like Uranus is more transpersonal. I've told you once, I've told you twice, that Mercury is the guide of souls. Mercury is the psychopomp. Mercury moves closest with the sun and essentially helps us understand the solar logos, explain to ourselves more about the solar logos, okay? Because Mercury is also explanation. It's understanding, it's an explaining what you've understood, okay? So and that's quite interesting if you ask me, because when Mercury goes retrograde, another thing we need to look at is magnesium deficiency. Okay, now manganese deficiency. So magnesium is also very important, zinc, magnesium, but manganese. And they discovered that manganese actually helps us release serotonin and oxytocin. They did a study on parents who were deficient in manganese, and those mothers, they stopped caring for the babies. So if you do not have enough manganese in your system, then you could be feeling, very, very irritable or very affected by Mercury retrogrades. Okay, it's just the way it is. Eat tons of nuts. Cashews, almonds, and all of that is, sort of going to balance your manganese. Magnesium also, zinc, very, very important. Folic acids, anything that omega fatty acids. So for vegans like me, it's flax seeds, tons and tons of flax seeds. So shall we now consider what we need in Scorpio, and shall we now rework, shall we now reinterpret? Because Scorpio is deep. Scorpio has a stealthy vibe to it. So Mercury is, I think, the most problematic. Mercury is retrograde is in Pisces, but Scorpio is also very, very, painful, very, very, can be very painful. It's a Mars ruled and Mars is a malefic. It's a Mars ruled retrograde. But of course, Mercury is going to slip back into Libra. And then Venus is going to, as Mercury slips into Libra, Venus will slip into Libra herself at the very beginning of Libra. So then Mercury will be ruled by Venus in rulership, and that is going to be a better time frame for us, okay? So you have to understand what houses these retrogrades are occurring for you. You've got to look at them through the decan, which is the faces. You've got to look at them through bounds and terms, and there are 50 terms in astrology, right? So all of this, and then you get really you peel away at meaning slowly, and I think the Mercury retrograde is about peeling away at meaning. Getting your natal chart looked at so you can understand how these energies could externalize, how these energies could internalize. So within and without, as above, so below, as within, so without. So remember that. That's something to really, really consider. Now, what else? Mercury retrograde. And I was like really thinking of going to the degree of Mercury retrograde, and that happens to be 12 of Scorpio. So that's very interesting because 12 of Scorpio is where I have my Uranus. So I am also having a Uranus opposite Uranus transit, which is really mind-opening, okay, mind-opening. So Mercury was retrograding to 2017 in fire signs, okay, and then in 2018, it retrograded into Scorpio. Last time that Mercury was retrograde here was, I think, December 2018. And that retrograde sort of began in Sagittarius and it went back to Scorpio. So this time it's beginning in Scorpio and moving back into Libra. So this is a mixed element Mercury retrograde cycle. But the 2019 was different. It was entirely in the water signs. Okay, it was entirely in the water signs. And yeah, okay, and also 2018, Mercury was retrograde in Scorpio. And then again, November 2019, Mercury was retrograde. And 2020 brings us this elemental mashup again. So February, March, when the coronavirus came out, the retrograde began in Pisces and went back to Aquarius. Okay, and the July retrograde began in Cancer. That ended in Cancer, if I'm not mistaken. And this one, of course, begins in Libra and ends, Scorpio, and ends in Libra. So this is a mixed elemental energy, which is again very different from having Mercury retrogrades in the same element, that the sort of more mishmash happening. Now, so I think that this is a very important time for us to really consider on how we are going to move forward once Mercury goes direct. And Mars will also go direct, and Jupiter and Saturn are going to meet in the astrological sign of Aquarius. So this is going to be so very interesting, so very interesting. I mean, I have to say interesting so many times because I don't think the human vocabulary has any other word that could fit so aptly as interesting. Okay, so this is the 12 degrees of Scorpio activation that I also told you, that where I have my Uranus. And I also spoke about the fixed star Acras, which is a signifier in the chart of occultists and astrologers, this 12 degrees of Scorpio. So watch that video if you haven't already, because there's just so much information, and there's a lot of stuff that you could do with this, just inner work that you could do. So let's inspire our minds. Let's awaken to higher possibilities, because this Mercury and Uranus is honestly, it's brilliant. Okay, I think I read penetrative brilliance in this very profound article that I read earlier on today. So this is Tina from Tina Hill signing off. A bit about the Mercury retrograde, a bit about Mercury opposite Uranus in the fixed signs of Scorpio and Taurus, and we've had a lot of Taurus energy with that Uranus sitting over there and sort of bringing to us this energy, Aquarian energy, because Uranus is really very, very Aquarian. Although I do not use Uranus as a ruler of a sign, because I've gone back to traditional rulerships, but Uranus is really, really stupendously brilliant. So thank you so much. Thank you for listening, and speak soon. Bye.